This movie shows you how to build the Pax Nexus Wardrobe. Spend just a few minutes watching this movie and you can make sure you get the build right first time. Lars is going to show you all the tips and tricks. He's Swedish, of course. Pax comes in different configurations. Ours is the wide version, with a clothes rail, shelf and wire basket, all from the complement range, plus 2 doors. In a nutshell, here's how it goes together. You put pegs and bolts into the 2 long sides, attach the bottom and the top panels to one of the sides, then you attach the second long side to complete the rectangle. Lay it flat, put the back on, and then put in the clothes rail, shelf, basket, and finally the doors. What you will need is the instruction manual, a screwdriver, a hammer, a spirit level and a drill. And because a Pax is quite big, you'll also need a friend. This is Ingrid. She is Swedish too, of course. You can use a normal screwdriver. We like using the drill as an electric screwdriver. But here's a tip. Make sure the power setting is on the lowest level. Build the wardrobe on a rug or carpet. This avoids any scratches and dents. Before we start putting the cupboard together, we identify the bag of bits and, importantly, the instructions. Do check the bits are all there. It really is worth counting them out to be sure. One final point before we get started. If your ceilings are low, you will need to build the wardrobe in a slightly different order from the way we do it here. But the manual shows you how to do this. Okay, that's the summary. Let's show you how it all goes together, starting with the main frame of the wardrobe. You'll find it all looks much clearer if you lay things out the same way as in the manual. First lay out the 2 long side panels and note that 2 of the edges have this L-shaped groove down the sides. They should be facing towards the outside. Screw in the bolts, counting holes to identify the positions shown in the manual. Screw them in as tight as you can, but in fact they don't have to be exactly 90 degrees. It will still all fit together. 3 bolts go in each end of the 2 long panels. It's always good to wear strong shoes when you are doing this kind of work, but mind you don't tread on those pegs. Screw in the metal wall brackets. These let you attach the wardrobe to the wall if you have an uneven floor. These adjustable mini legs help you with uneven floors too. They screw into the underside of the base. These star-shaped pieces are the 2 nuts they screw into. These have to be hammered into the 2 holes in the underside of the bottom panel. Then, once they are hammered in, screw in the mini legs into those star-shaped nuts until they stick out about 5 mm on the other side. Later on, you can use the spirit level to tell whether you need to screw these a little further in or out. Tap the wooden pegs into both the bottom and top panels. There are 2 sizes of holes in these edges. The wooden pegs go into the smaller holes, where they fit tightly. Now it's time to drop the bottom panel onto the bolts at the bottom end. Take care, because at this stage the structure is not very strong. You're beginning to see some results now. And it's time to put the top panel onto the bolts at the top end. Fit the retaining nuts into their holes. They go this way up. They slip over the ends of the bolts, and then when you turn them just half a turn or so, they tighten and create a nice tight connection. 3 at the top end, 3 at the bottom. There need to be 2 wooden pegs in the upward facing edges of both the top and bottom panels. We're now going to attach these 2 battens to the underside. Notice they're different. The batten without veneer goes at the back, next to the edge with that L-shaped groove, and the other one goes at the front, so that the veneered surface matches the rest of the wardrobe. First, tap 2 pegs into both ends of both battens. 8 pegs in all. Place the battens into the holes by the bottom panel, making sure they are the right way round. You have a choice at the front. The batten can be right up front or set back into the second pair of holes if you prefer, maybe to match other furniture. Now it's time to put the other side on. Do this carefully, as the structure is still fragile. Once one end is on, then you can do the other end. So now we have the main frame. Time to screw in 6 more retaining nuts, 3 at the top and 3 at the bottom. Take the two black plastic feet and press them onto the ends of the adjustable mini legs. Now it's time to turn the cupboard face down, so the side with the L-shaped groove should be on the upper edge, so you can lay the backboard on. Starting at the bottom, next to the battens, make sure that the backboard is sitting snugly into the corner. Then hammer in one nail in that corner. Use the little black plastic nail holder to get the nail in the correct position. Then do the same for the other bottom corner, and then the same in the two top corners. When you have the 4 nails hammered in, one at each corner, it's time to go around all 4 sides, hammering in the remaining nails. There are over 30 of these. Space them as evenly as you can, but importantly, don't skimp on these nails, because the backboard, once securely in place, adds greatly to the strength of the frame, and this ensures that the doors and shelves will attach easily. Stand the unit on its end. Now we're going to attach the clothes rail. Click the 2 ends onto the rail. Decide how high up you want the rail to be. Make sure that the rail is facing the right way, with the screw holes behind the rail, and simply screw the 4 screws in, 2 at either end. Now we're going to attach the basket, using these basket rails and these 4 screws. Again, simply choose how high or low you want the level to be and screw in 4 screws. Locate the basket slightly downwards into the rails like this and push it in. To help you decide the best height for the shelf, here's a tip. Hang something on the clothes rail, a jacket or skirt maybe. When you have chosen the height, push in these plastic shelf supports. Push them into the holes, then tighten the screws to secure them. There are 4 per shelf, and then you simply put the shelf on the supports. Finally, it's time to put the doors on. You will need that electric drill, because you have to drill holes to attach the handles which you have chosen. We have chosen handles called tag. To make sure your handles are exactly level, make the holes for both door handles at the same time. You can do this by taping the doors together when you drill the holes like this. The doors attach using complement hinges. These hinges come in 2 parts. The bigger part attaches to the door, this smaller one to the frame, and they snap together like this. First, screw the bigger halves of the hinges into the circular recesses of the door, 3 per door, and you will definitely need your friend for this part. Offer up the doors to the frame to find out where the other half of each hinge needs to attach to the frame. To get exactly the right height, a good tip is to rest the doors on piles of books. Screw the other half of the hinges into the frame. And finally, and this can be the trickiest bit because doors are heavy, snap the 2 halves of all the hinges together. Then, what's left? Just screw on the door handles you have chosen. And there is your Pax wardrobe. Hope you enjoyed the show. Just rewind the movie if you want to see any of the parts again. Or you can go and start building your wardrobe.